What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today we're going to go over all the inputs, outputs, and controls for the RPM47. So first let's take a look at the back of the mixer where we see the speaker output section. These are the 2/4-inch outputs that we're going to use to connect our speakers here. Now because the speakers I'm using today have speak-on inputs and outputs, while the mixer has 1/4-inch outputs, I can use these speak-on to 1/4-inch cables to connect my speakers. So that's just another thing you want to keep in mind when connecting your speakers to your mixer. So to set up my speakers to the mixer, I'm going to take the speak-on ends of my cables and plug them into the speak-on inputs on my speakers. Then I'm going to plug the other ends into the 1/4-inch speaker outputs. So now that I got the speakers all set up, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my mixer. Now when we take a look at the mixer, you'll see that we have 5 channels that we can use where we can plug in a microphone through the XLR mic input or an instrument through the 1/4-inch line input. So to show you how that works, I have my dynamic mic right here and my XLR cable. I'm going to plug the female end into my mic, then I can plug the other end into the XLR input of any channel I want to use here. But for today, let's use channel 1. So from here I can raise the level knob on channel 1, and to hear it coming out of the speakers, I'm going to raise the master knob here. And now when I talk into the microphone, check 1 2, you'll be able to hear my voice coming through the speakers. Now we can also set up a condenser microphone to any of these channels using the same exact steps, except you'll want to activate the phantom power button here to power your condenser microphone. If you feel like the signal is coming in too hot on any microphone or instrument you want to use, you can also use the pad button on any of these channels to bring the level down by 20 dB, and then from there you can use the level knob to compensate for the volume. So like I mentioned, we can also use the line input to set up an instrument like a guitar, for example. So to do that, I can take a 1/4-inch instrument cable here and plug one end into my guitar. Then I'm going to plug the other end into the line input on any available channel. So for today, I'm going to plug it into channel 2. Then I can raise the level knob for channel 2. And again, I want to make sure that the master volume is up so I hear it coming out of the speakers. And now if I play the guitar, you'll hear it coming out of the speakers. So this is a cool setup for live performances or band rehearsals, since I can plug in an instrument and a microphone at the same time. And if you wanted to set up a different instrument like a bass or a keyboard, you can follow these same exact steps. For stereo instruments like a keyboard or synth, you can use 2 channels here on the mixer for the left and right output of your instrument. On each channel, we also have a 2-band EQ, so we can adjust the high and low frequencies on each channel. I'll use my mic here to demonstrate. So first we'll take a look at the high knob where we can adjust the high-end frequencies. So if I were to raise that all the way up, check 1 2, check 1 2, you hear a lot more presence in my voice, and it's almost like a tinny sound that you can hear. I can lower that all the way down too, and then you'll hear the difference there. Check 1 2, you don't hear any of that high end at all, hearing mostly low end really. And then I can raise it back to the middle, check 1 2, check 1 2, and that will give us a more balanced sound. Next we got the low knob to adjust the low end frequencies. So if I were to raise that all the way up, check 1 2, check 1 2, you're hearing a lot more bass or body in my voice there. And then if I lower it all the way down, check 1 2, check 1 2, you're not hearing any of that low end or bass, mostly high and mid frequencies. And then I can raise it back to the middle, check 1 2, which gives us the balance. Each channel also has an effects knob that we can use with either the DSP effects or the external FX loop on the back of the mixer. First, let's take a look at the DSP section here, where we can choose from 24 different effects to use with any of our channels. For this section, we have the program knob where we can choose any of these effects by scrolling through. And once you find the effect you want to use, you're going to push this button down to select the effect. Next to that, we have the parameter knob, which acts as our dry-wet ratio, so we can choose how much of the effect we want present. And then we have the DSP to main knob, which will bring the effects through the main mix out of our speakers. Now on the back of the mixer, we also have an external effects loop in case we didn't want to use any of the effects built into the mixer. So to set up an external effect to the mixer, you're going to take a 1/4-inch cable and plug one end into the send of the effects loop, then plug that other end into the input of your effect. Then to send the effect back to the mixer, you're going to take another 1/4-inch cable and plug one end into the output of the effect, then plug the other end into the return on your mixer. Next, we're gonna raise the effects loop return on the mixer, and then we can use the effects knob on whichever channel we want affected by the outside effects. Next, we have the 7-band EQ, where we can change the overall sound that's coming out of our mixer through our speakers. So if you felt like there was too much high end coming from the mixer out of the speakers, you can adjust those high end frequencies with the 7-band EQ. Next, we have the controller for our USB or Bluetooth devices. So we can use this to control music playback, like the pause or play button to pause or play our music. We got a stop button to stop the music overall. We got a skip forward or go back button to switch between tracks. And then we have the mode button to switch between music sources. You'll also see the USB input, where we can plug in a USB thumb drive to play music from there. And then the MP3 volume knob to control the volume of the music coming from these sources. So now let me show you how to set up a Bluetooth device like a smartphone or tablet to your mixer. To do that, you're gonna go to the mode button and make sure that you're set to Bluetooth mode. From there, you can go into the Bluetooth settings of your phone or tablet and search for the device that reads Rockville. Click on it to pair, and then you'll see from the settings that you're connected to the mixer. Again, you'll want to make sure to raise the MP3 volume knob so you hear the music from your device, and to raise the master volume knob so you hear everything coming out of the speakers. You'll also want to use the volume notches on your phone or tablet to set up the volume from your phone. So let's go ahead and hear how it sounds. Yeah, nice. Sounds really good. Another way we can play music is by using the RCA input on the back of the mixer, where we can plug in external music players like record players, different MP3 devices, etc. If you're plugging a device into the RCA input, you'll want to raise the aux input level knob on the front of the mixer. Next to that RCA input, we also have an RCA record output, where we can take everything coming through the mixer and send it out to an interface to be recorded. And we can also use this to expand our setup further by plugging it into different mixers, powered speakers, subwoofers, etc. The mixer also has a PC interface input, so we can set it up to a laptop or computer and record everything coming from the mixer into our computer. So to set up the mixer to our computer, I can take a USB-B to USB-A cable. I'm gonna plug the USB-B end into the mixer. Then I can plug the other end into my laptop or computer, and if you're using a newer device like I'm using here, you can get a USB dock or converter to plug the USB-A end into your computer. Alternatively, you can get a USB-B to USB-C cable and plug the USB-C end into your laptop or computer. So hopefully this showed you guys all of the inputs, outputs, and controls with the RPM47. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.